Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. The Houston Rockets have Kevin Durant. That will never get old. It's July 7th, and Kevin Durant's still a Houston Rocket. But we also picked up two dudes that are going to make hopefully a nice impact. Dorian Finney-Smith and Clint Capella. Now, in all of our Rockets videos that we've made since the Kevin Durant trade, I've been saying, well, ideally another guard, ideally another shooter. But Raphael Stone in the last 24 hours has come out and said, we're pretty capped right now. So what you see is probably what you're going to get. So without further ado, we have our first projected starting lineup and bench lineup for this Houston Rockets team. And it goes as follows. Your projected starting lineup next year will be some iteration of Freddie Double V, Amen Thompson, Kevin Durant, Jabari Smith Jr., and Alperen Sengun, which means your bench, as far as shooting goes, I will admit it is definitely my biggest concern with the Houston Rockets. Your starting bench would be Reed Shepherd, DFS, Tari Eason, Clint Capella, and Steven Adams. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of the double big lineup in probably more so elimination games like we saw in the final loss to the Golden State Warriors. But Clint Capella, Steven Adams, it's huge. And, Capella is going to be huge for Steven Adams. Load management, DFS is going to be perfect. We lost Dylan Brooks in that Jalen Green, Kevin Durant trade. And, you pretty much get another version of Dylan Brooks in DFS. So the shooting is worrisome. But my hope process here is that the addition of Kevin Durant and the further development of players, Jabari Smith Jr., Alperen Sengun, Amen Thompson, especially Reed Shepherd, but even Tari Eason as well. I'm hoping the further development of these guys, because none of them, other than Thompson, are bad shooters at all. Like, none of them are bad shooters. It's just they're not like, 3 or 4 threes consistently a night, which, is a crazy thing to do in general. But the one thing Houston has going for them is their length. But give me 1 second. Apologies, I hit my inhaler. Let me know if you like these videos. I just got this fat thing on my mic here, is like, so the pop doesn't come into your headphones. It just looks on the camera that I can see right now extremely big. But we're trying to make not only more Houston Rockets content, because we've been doing the live stream, we've been doing the podcast for a couple of years, and then I kind of stopped making videos. But I don't like editing NBA clips. I'd much rather just hop on the vid and talk some Houston Rockets content. So let me know if you like this style. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. You know the deal. This is a tweet from Bordeaux that you guys can't see. On the Houston Rockets roster, outside of point guards, 90% of the roster has a 7-foot wingspan. So we saw with, the winners of the NBA Finals, the OKC Thunder, we saw the Houston Rockets the whole regular season and the postseason have phenomenal defensive success. Defense leads to offense. It's easy to win basketball games when you can hold your opponents to around 100 points. But here's every non-Rocket guard that has a 7-foot wingspan. Dorian Finney-Smith, Amen Thompson, Alperen Sengun, Jabari Smith Jr., Jeff Green, Tari Eason, Steven Adams, Clint Capella, Dylan Brooks. I'm like running out of breath going through that list. So that's the good thing is, even with that Cam Whitmore trade a few days ago, there's a lot of length, but the one thing that does concern me, and I'll pull it up again, is the shooting, because Houston, honestly, I feel like ever since I started making Rockets content a few years ago, I feel like we've just never really been a very good 3-point shooting team. I'm going to just pull up the stats on StatMuse so we can give it a go here. The Rockets were 21st. Oh, that's field goals. Yeah, they were 21st in 3-point percentage. They were 20th in 3-pointers attempted and 22nd in 3-pointers made. But let's see, where can we see some improvement? The leading 3-point shooter last year for the Houston Rockets was Jalen Green. Obviously, that's going to be, Kevin Durant this year. Number 2 was Freddie Double V. Then you have Dylan Brooks. So the Rockets technically just lost 2 of their 3 best 3-point makers of last season. Jabari Smith Jr. with 1.7, and there's Cam Whitmore at 5. So they got rid of 3 of their top 5 3-point makers last season. I guess got Aaron Holiday there. Even more I look into it, and like I said at the beginning of the video, even before, or sorry, I should say after the Kevin Durant trade, my whole thought process is that they were going to go out there and get some guards. They were going to get some shooters, some reliable 3-point shooters. But they've been saying it. We've been saying it. Everybody's been saying it. The amount of trust Raphael Stone and the Rockets organization clearly has in Reed Shepherd's further development is very evident. And I got to say, Reed's one of those dudes that even if he was a starter, like even if this was 2021, 2022, completely different versions of the Houston Rockets, and Reed Shepherd was getting, 25 minutes minimum a night, he's still one of those players. I mean, look at him. He's so young. This is one of those guys that's just going to age like fine wine as far as on the basketball court's concerned. Like, I don't think he's anywhere obviously near his potential. We barely even got to see him play last year. Sometimes he looked a little timid taking shots. So having him get a full rookie season's huge. Getting some playoff experience, having the team playoff experience is huge. But it's very evident they view Reed Shepherd very highly. I've been seeing a lot of people as well get upset at the Fred VanVleet extension, re-sign, whatever extension. Some people wanted Kyrie Irving. We've been talking about it on this channel for the last couple of weeks. I'm not as difficult on Fred VanVleet as I would say some people are. He's from my home state, Illinois. Rockford's finest, Fred V. He's won a national championship, and I don't have the stats readily available, but even if they weren't crazy, everything you saw from Fred in the postseason, that's the reason he's still the starting point guard of this team. And also, his pick and roll and, his schematical fit and all that fun stuff. But yeah, man, that's it for today. I just miss having a Rockets community. I miss having the people on the live streams. We just haven't done a live stream in a while, but trying to grow the podcast. We do this, but live form, and it's available on streaming sites. The link below to that. But thank you guys, everybody who has been with us since we first started covering the Houston Rockets in 2020 and is still with us watching these videos right now. Shout out to you if you're new, but let me know down below if you like this style of content, if there's any type of videos you want to see, if you have any comment, any take, any question on the current state of the Houston Rockets, let me know that down below. But that's it for me, man. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like button, hit that sub button, and we'll see you soon. Peace.